nutritionist and gut health specialist. I help busy women with their digestive issues, their IBS, bloating, and any other digestive problems they have using nutrition and natural methods and gut testing. So today I was going to talk a little bit about restricting your diet. Sometimes people restrict their diet quite a lot in order to avoid symptoms, which seems quite a sensible thing to do. Sometimes it works. So there's nothing to be, frowned upon there, but sometimes it can get a bit excessive. So for example, what I see happening a lot is, say, for example, people will think that it's onions that cause bloating. So they take onions out of their diet because the onion's causing bloating, they've noticed, which is fine. They take the onions out and then the bloating goes, which is what you want. But then quite often you'll find the symptoms will come back again. So then they're getting a bit fed up now and want to investigate further. Then they might read that gluten's really bad for your digestion, so they take out gluten. Gluten's in ever such a lot of food, so you end up taking out a huge food group there. So you've got no gluten in and you've got no onions, so you're quite restricted already. And then lo and behold, the symptoms can creep back again. So then you take out more foods. So you can see where it goes. You end up eating a very limited amount of foods and can end up with a bad diet, really. It's far too restricted, which is not what we want. So there are 4, if you are going to experiment with this, there are just 4 things really that you want to look out for. Okay, so firstly, what I would like to mention is that with something that can come up a lot with gut problems is something called the low FODMAP diet. So you're essentially eating foods which are very low in a particular kind of carbohydrate called a FODMAP. The trouble is, FODMAP foods generally are very good, healthy foods. There's lots of fruit, veg and stuff in there, and plant proteins and things. So high FODMAP foods are not necessarily a bad thing. They are harder to digest. So often what happens is when we're working on a gut healing program with somebody, we tend to take out high FODMAP foods while they're healing to take the pressure off the gut. The low FODMAP diet was never really intended as something which was going to be used on a long-term basis. It's a short-term solution, and then gradually we add the high FODMAP foods back in, and then hopefully at that point you can tolerate them okay because you've healed your gut. So going on a low FODMAP diet for a long time is going to restrict you a lot, so definitely avoid that for too long if you can, and certainly always best to do that under the supervision of a nutritionist or dietitian or somebody who can help you through it properly. Okay, so the second thing is often when people get gut problems, they will start to avoid high fibre foods. Now, you probably know that high fibre foods are really essential for your digestion to get it functioning properly. So you really need to be eating high fibre foods. And that's not just solely for your digestion, but they will also help your body eliminate toxins. The fibre will help your body get rid of excess hormones and things like that. So if you take fibre from your diet, you end up potentially with a whole host of different issues as well. So again, it's not a good idea to be taking out high fibre foods from your diet for too long because you really do need them. If you're not eating a lot of fibre at the moment, then start small, just have small amounts of high fibre foods and then build up slowly. And that should hopefully stop you getting too many symptoms. But you need fibre, you need high fibre foods. So be very wary of taking all of them out for too long, certainly. Okay, so number 3, if you start restricting your diet too much, you may end up not taking in enough energy. So you might get energy deficient, nutrient deficient. You might not be getting enough B vitamins or iron. The calorie intake just may not be there. So you might find that you start to get very tired and nutrient deficient, and the whole thing is just a bit of a disaster. You'll end up probably feeling worse than you would do anyway. So number 4, there are some major nutrients that could potentially end up missing from your diet if you start to take foods out in this willy-nilly way. So you could get low on protein if you're taking out meats and fish. They're generally not, they're quite well tolerated normally, but then people will end up taking out lentils, nuts, because they're harder to digest. You could end up not then consuming enough protein, so you could get muscle loss, thinning hair, brittle nails, that sort of thing, immune problems. Which is obviously to be avoided. You may end up not getting enough calcium, and you need, say if you take out dairy, a lot of people don't tolerate dairy, but that doesn't necessarily mean you won't tolerate it, but it's a great source of calcium, along with green leafy vegetables and tofu, things like that. I mean, do be aware that these things aren't tolerated particularly well by everybody, but it doesn't mean to say that they don't suit you. There's no one perfect diet for everybody. So it's important to kind of establish which foods you can and can't tolerate personally before you start taking them out. So you may get low in B vitamins. So if you're taking out all the whole grains, all the pulses, eggs, nuts and seeds, you're going to get low in B vitamins. This is going to affect your mood, which is not what we want at the moment. You may get hair loss, anything like that can be quite dramatic and drastic. You may get low in vitamin A. So if you're taking out meats, fish, dairy, leafy greens again, and orange coloured fruits and vegetables, then your immune system might take a knock. You may get eye problems, things like that. And again, you may become low in magnesium, so you need a lot of magnesium going on. It's found in whole grains, which is often the first thing to go if people do start to get gut problems. They'll start taking out anything whole grainy, fibery. Again, some people do better without them, but you might be someone who does need to have them in your diet. So you're then at risk of migraines, muscle cramps and mood problems. So again, best avoided. Okay, so that's 4 pitfalls you want to watch out for if you do start experimenting with restricting your diet. The best thing to do, definitely, if you are getting gut problems, is to get your gut tested and speak to someone professional, usually, to help you out, get to the root cause of your problems, start to heal your gut, and then you can hopefully start enjoying a nice wide range of foods once more. So if you do want to speak to me, I shall pop the link to my diary in the comments, and I shall look forward to speaking to you. And if not, I shall see you next time. Okay, bye.